Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Joshua Davis, and welcome to this algebra video series. Let's take a look at the first problem. This is the motion problem. An airplane travels at 3 times the rate of an automobile. It takes 6 hours less time than the automobile to go 270 miles. How fast does each travel? I will give you time to pause and copy the problem. If you would like to do so, you can also pause the video. Now, let's begin to look at our solution here. Well, here's our solution. Let R equal the rate of the automobile. Now, as you can see here, we had this set up in form of a table of the distance, rate, and time table. So for the given, we have an automobile and we have the airplane. In the first column, we have the rate, which is in miles per hour. In the third column, we have the distance that's traveled. And we have the length of time of travel. So for right now, the automobile, we don't know what the rate of speed of the automobile is. So that's R. We know that the automobile and the plane, they're going to both travel a distance of 270 miles. So the distance for the automobile is 270. Now recall that from our distance time rate equation, time can be found by taking the distance traveled divided by the rate or the speed of travel as you go along that distance. So the distance covered and the rate at which you were driving, assuming that the rate or the speed was constant. So here for the car, we're assuming that it had a constant rate. We know the distance, so by the distance rate time formula, we know that the time is equal to the distance divided by the rate. So the time that it takes the car to drive that 270 miles at that unknown rate is the distance of 270 divided by the rate of the car. Now, we were also told for the airplane, as you see here, that the airplane traveled 3 times as fast as the car. So the expression that represents the rate or the speed of the plane is 3 times R, which is 3 times the rate of the car. We know that the plane also travels 270 miles, the same distance. It's going to catch up to the car and cover the same distance, but in a shorter amount of time. So the time it takes the plane to travel the same exact 270 miles is the distance of 270 divided by the rate of speed of the airplane. So pause the video and copy the table if you choose to do so. Now, since the plane flies 6 hours fewer than the car to travel at the same 270 miles, we have the following word equation. Time of travel of the car minus the 6 hours that it travels. Well, that's going to give us the time of travel of the plane. So for however long that the car traveled, whatever the length of time that the car traveled, if we subtract 6 hours from that time, that will tell us the length of time that the plane traveled the same exact 270 miles. Now we can write our equation based on our word equation. So we had the time. So the time of travel of the car we found from our table is 270 divided by the rate of speed. Now we know that if we subtract 6 hours from that, that should equal to the 270 miles over 3R, or the same time it took the plane to cover the same exact distance. So the time of travel of the car, we subtract the 6 hours from that. That tells us the length of time that the plane traveled the same 270 miles. So our equation is 270 divided by r minus 6 is equal to 270 divided by 3r. So now in this case, we want to eliminate the denominators. We really don't want to work with this equation with the denominators. You could, but because this is an equation, it'll make the problem-solving process easier if we eliminate the denominators. So we're looking at 270 over r and 270 over 3r. And in this case, we see that the common denominator between these two fractions is 3r. Now I could have reduced this fraction on the right side, 270 divided by 3r. Yes, I could have done that, but right now I decided not to. So now I multiply both sides of the equation by 3r. So please copy this, multiply through, and then compare your result to mine. Well, after multiplying both sides of the equation by 3r, we now have 810 minus 18r is equal to 270. Well, now we need to get the variable expression negative 18r by itself. 810, we need to get rid of that because that is not a variable expression. So we will choose to eliminate the 810, leaving us with the negative 818r on the left side. So in this case, since 810 is positive, we will use the additive inverse of 810, which is negative 810. And we have to add that negative 810 to both sides. That's called the additive property of equality. Whatever we add to one side of an equation, in order to maintain the balance, we must add the same exact amount to the other side. So we see here, because 810 minus 810 are additive inverses, when we try to add those, we get 0, which is by definition what additive inverses are. They're opposites of each other, so when you add them, you get 0. So on the left side, I'm left with negative 18 times r equals, now, after taking the difference between 270 and negative 810, we end up with negative 540. Well, we're still looking for what r is, but r is being multiplied by that negative 18. So we now know that we must do opposite operations. So the opposite of multiplying the r by negative 18, in order to undo this, we know we have to do the opposite of multiplication. We have to divide both sides by negative 18. And we see here on the left side that the negative 18s, they divide into one another. The negatives cancels. The 18s divide into one another once. On the right side, we have a negative divided by negative. The negatives cancel one another. And 540 divided by 18 is 30. So here r is equal to 30 miles per hour, and that's the speed of the car. So the car is traveling at a rate of 30 miles per hour. Well, now we need to find the rate of speed of the plane. Well, we were told that the rate of speed of the plane is 3 times that of the car. So 3r is equal to 90. So in this case, that's the speed of the plane. So now we know that the plane was traveling at a rate of 90 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know if this instructional video was helpful. Again, my name is Mr. Joshua Davis, and you can reach me at my tutoring site at mathhealer.com. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that this video has been of help to help you to see ways of solving problems that are similar to this one. Thank you and have a very good day.